What is up, my fellow Yeets? And today, we are making a sequel to something that has already been done. Sequels are always harder than to make than the first one, and they're always a little bit more terrible terrible. Well, this time, it's more terrible in the actual game. Well, and also in how hard it is. So today we'll be going back to our Sonic without going upside down challenges. Can you beat Sonic in a CD without going upside down? Let's find out. So next, let's discuss the rules. So what we can't do is go through a loop. We also can't, which you know what a loop is. It's a Sonic classic level design. You can't go into a slope that will launch you upside down. Basically, anything that will put you into a state that puts you into an animation that puts you upside down, you cannot do. So, yeah. Luckily, it's not as bad as like something like Sonic 2. Which, if you're wondering why I skipped that, it's impossible from the fourth level. So, I'm not doing a whole video on that. So, yeah. So it's not too bad. It's basically just avoiding loops and things like that. Now our moveset is a lot different. Since we're playing as Sonic, and I didn't want to play as Tails for this because challenge, and also you don't unlock him until you beat the game anyway, so you wouldn't really be beating the game. But anyway, Tails, I think this Sonic does do the challenge justice, though. Since we're playing as Sonic, we'll have to use our speed and momentum to jump, to get enough speed to jump over certain loops. Things like, you can use the super peel out to your advantage, and if that's not enough, you can also use speed up monitors that are all around the level to get that extra height and jump over. It's hard, but yeah, but it will definitely help. Also, time traveling can help to find other routes, so we will time travel when needed. It's not. And with all that considered, let's get into the challenge. I hate to be anticlimactic, but the first level is basically just a level to get used to your moveset of all things. You might be like, what about the big loop at the beginning? And you might be wondering why it's called a big loop after I say this, but it's not even a loop. It's basically just a big ramp. And everybody just calls it the big frickin' loop, even though it's just a regular ramp that doesn't put you upside down. So I mean, I checked. It just changes the camera view, so that's all it does. So other than that, the level's pretty easy, and it lets you get used to jumping over loops and finding other routes to get to the end. So that'll be it for Palm Tree Panic 1. Palm Tree Panic 2, on the other hand, is terrible and hard. Well, you'll have to immediately go down to the low route to get this speed up monitor that's by this enemy. This enemy can trip you up and have you die, though. But then basically run to this side as fast as you can so you can jump over this loop and peel out. But then after that, there's even more you'd have to jump over. This pipe, there's this S-tube thing, looking thing that seems problematic. And I did check, it doesn't let you go upside down, but if you want to jump over it, you can use a super peel out to jump over it. I did test it, and it did work. So yeah, that'll be it for Palm Tree Panic 2. Palm Tree Panic 3 is a lot like Palm Tree Panic 2, where there's a huge loop blocking us from the entire level. You basically have to use the one speed up monitor in the entire level to use and then use a super peel out to get past the one big ramp. Big loop, and that's basically keeping you from completing the level. It's hard, but it's not too hard. After that, we can easily defeat the boss. And don't do this. Don't. Yeah, don't spin dash after you defeat the boss. Instead, just kind of walk slowly, or try to spin dash and hold back once you get far closer to the hole, and then you'll easily get through that small little hiccup there. And now on to Collision Chaos. Collision Chaos is pretty easy. It's not like Spring's Yard Zone, where there's a few problematic parts, but they're not really hard to something we should talk about. They're minor annoyances that make it harder and harder, but but we don't really need to talk about many of them. But I would like to talk about one thing in Collision Chaos 2. Collision Chaos 2 is kind of an interesting one. You see, what the game wants us to do is go down to the bottom route and go time travel in the thing that makes you go upside down thousands of times. But and that's just something kind of to introduce you to time travel if you haven't done the time travel mechanic yet. But I think that's not what we want to do, because that just makes it go upside down a lot. So if you go past these like glass bubble things, I don't know what they are, but you can bounce past them with the springs and find the other route. So that should make it pretty easily. And yeah, that'll be it for Collision Chaos. Now on to Quartz Quadrant. Or wait, no. Right, I skipped something. Tidal Tempest. Sorry. Tidal Tempest is a lot like Labyrinth Zone. There's a few problematic things, but it's nothing really we need to talk about. There is a few problematic slopes, but nothing that really comes to mind that was really hard to get through. It's a lot like Labyrinth Zone, just a lot of drowning, and going for air bubbles and trying to get through enemies, so shouldn't be too hard. And so that'll be it for Tidal Tempest. Now onto Quartz Quadrant. Quartz Quadrant is one of those break levels again. Level 1, or kind of. Level 1, Act 1's pretty easy, but Act 2 does have a few problematic S-tunnels. You can easily get past them, though, by taking a different route, so yeah. But I can't say the same about Act 3. Right in the beginning, you don't want to spin dash here. I know it's tempting, but don't do it. You don't want to do that because it will launch you into an upside down slope. So don't do that. After that, though, it should be pretty easy. If you want, how I think you should approach this slope is lightly spin dash. Do like a one-tap spin dash. Whatever you do, don't hit that red spring. But go up as close as you can to the slope and then do a one-tap spin dash. So then you can get up there slowly and then kind of hold right once you get somewhere near the top. So that should. So then after that, just get to the boss and you'll be done with Quartz Quadrant 3. Wacky Workbench might seem problematic, but it's not too problematic. In the beginning, there is that one upside down slope, which I recommend you don't spin dash into, because because that is your worst life's choice. But I mean, don't do it. But other than that, it does have a few problematic things, but it's nothing too bad. There is something I do want to talk about in Act 2, though. So in Act 2 of Wacky Workbench, you have to take the very high route because there's a loop that is blocking you from it. But you can take the very high route that leads you to these monkey bar things that doesn't put you in anywhere upside down. I also got into the past for some reason. I don't know how, but but I don't know. So this is fine. But other than that, the level is pretty easy. A little bit into you have some of these wheel things. I don't know what they're called. But you eventually do have to, but you can easily get past them after. But I checked, and you don't go upside down when using these things, so you're perfectly fine. So on to Whack. So since Wacky Workbench 3 doesn't have anything problematic at all, on to Stardust Speedway. So you're probably wondering, how the heck am I gonna get through Sonic's Stardust Speedway zone? It's one of the fastest zones in Sonic ever, and it gives you a lot of momentum from going upside down. There's a lot of upside down slopes. What am I gonna do? Well, the first level is kind of just like, honestly, you have to take it slow. You have to like inch forward just to make sure that you're not accidentally going into a booster that will automatically put you into a slope. It's not very, there's not really any specific strategies you need to use. It's really just jumping over loops and finding weird ways around upside down slopes and just restarting if you accidentally get one. But then we get to Act 2. So Act 2 is a super specific route. So listen carefully. First you need to get through these 2 tubes that I'm going through right now. Then jump at that loop so you don't accidentally go through it, and collect the pass sign. After that, all you need to do is go super duper fast so you can time travel right here, because you need to go to the pass in order for this to be possible. Then you need to climb onto these yellow springs, which will lead you up to the entire top route, and you just need to kind of keep platforming over onto the top route. There's when you get to this section where there's a lot of springs, you really have to just kind of hope that you can get to the top route. There's like a specific platform that you need to get to the top route, so you really just have to get lucky and not go upside down because of these stupid springs. But after that, there is a bit of a suspicious S tunnel, but if you're lucky, I think you can get it and get through it without going upside down. But other than that, it is pretty hard. And all this might sound easy, but man, back to back to back, it is hard to execute, my man. It is just really hard to execute, and you do not want to keep. It's just so angry, but it's possible. So it doesn't. So nothing really matters. But anyway, Stardust Speedway 3 isn't that bad. There is this one loop that has a difficult jump, but as long as you peel over the loop after you get on this high platform with the one up, it's actually pretty easy, and it's pretty creative. And yeah, surprisingly, the Metal Sonic race doesn't have any loops. I was very surprised about that. Which that's definitely something Sonic Mania and even Sonic Generations probably change. But yeah, so I guess now onto Metallic Madness Zone. Guys, probably wondering why I'm not doing a game footage for this last part, but my game footage kept getting deleted, and I don't want to keep going through the game just to get to Metallic Madness Zone just for my footage to be deleted again. So we're just gonna talk about Metallic Madness Zone while laying with my doggo. Say hi, Izzy Baba. She doesn't talk. Anyway, so the only really real problem in Metallic Madness Zone is like these spinning wheels in the second act, but it's really not that bad, honestly. I mean, it's a lot like Scrap Brain Zone Act 2, if you've ever seen my video on Sonic 1 without going upside down.
they're very easy to avoid as long as you know they're there, and you can easily get through them. So with that, yes, it is possible to get through Sonic CD without going upside down. So I'm very surprised since Sonic's moveset is very low and it's very hard to get over certain loops, and you just have to use peel jumps and everything, but we were able to make through it. So yeah. Anyway, might as well do a little bit of my outro too for this part. But I wanted to say, first of all, my next video will probably be like a dive deep into the history of music from the early 2010s, because that music is incredible, and that sounds like a really fun video, like something in the spirit of like a Something Salt video, like the Speedrun World Record History videos, but it's going to be really diving deep into the music from the 2010s, because those are some of the best music ever, and how it just really hit the world. But I may or may not do that, and if I don't do that, I'll probably just make my room into a Super Mario 64 video, but I will eventually make that video and keep it in the back of my mind. But for now, that is going to be it for this video. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so you don't miss a video, and until next time, don't sleep with turtles. Say bye-bye, Izzy. She still doesn't speak. Don't sleep with turtles.